Hello students, welcome to BioLearning with Aparna. We have been studying the chapter Control and Coordination. In our last session, we have discussed in detail the coordination and control in the plants, and also we have seen the role of phytohormones. Now coming to the end of this chapter, we will finally discuss the endocrine system in the animals and also the role of hormones in the control and coordination in animals. Now before starting the actual discussion with the endocrine system, let us have one example. Now certain animals like squirrel, they face the situation where there is the scaring situation or there is the emergency like situation. Now in that situation, the animal has to decide whether it will fight or it will run away. Now in both the actions, the animal require a lots of energy and they have to prepare for it. Now consider, as usual in case of the control and coordination, that is carried out by the nervous system. Now if that electrical impulse has been generated, the animal will take action, but that action will be rapid and it will not last for longer duration. So an alternative situation will be there. There will be the long lasting action or the communication will be carried out. So in short, in the animals, there are two levels of control and coordination. First, that we have already seen, that is the nervous system or the nervous coordination, and the second important level of coordination is the endocrine system. Now as we have seen, the nervous system, it consists of the brain, spinal cord, and the most important part, that is neurons or the nerve cells. While the endocrine system, it consists of different glands, that is the endocrine glands. Now these endocrine glands are the ductless glands and the main important part is the hormones. Now here, in case of nervous system, the communication is carried out or the message regarding the emergency has been conveyed by the electrical impulse, and it will be communicated to the cells that are directly in contact with the neurons. Here, this in case of endocrine system, the communication is carried out by means of the chemicals that are hormones. Now these hormones are the chemical substances. Actually in both these systems, the chemical substance is involved. In case of nervous system, it is known as neurotransmitter, because the electrical impulse will be carried out from one neuron to another neuron, and during the or through the gap, that is synapses, a chemical substance is released that is known as neurotransmitter. Now here the major role is played by the chemical substances. Now these chemical substances, that is hormones, that are secreted by the various different glands, and these are directly emptied into the blood circulation. So these glands are known as the ductless glands. Now overall, both these systems, that is nervous system and the endocrine system, they act in coordination with each other and they carry out the controlled activity in case of animals. Now let us understand this endocrine system in detail. Now what are these hormones? The hormones are chemical substances that act as messengers in our body. So a very simple definition of the hormones, that the hormones are the chemical substances that act as messengers in our body. Now the general characteristic of these hormones are, now in case of animals, the hormones are secreted in small quantity. These are secreted in small quantity by the specific glands. Now, the major difference in case of phytohormones and the hormones in the animals is that here a specialized endocrine system is there that will secrete the hormones and which are having a significant role in control and coordination of the animals. But in case of plant, no such well-defined endocrine system is there. The different phytohormones are directly secreted. The next property of the hormones is that now usually the hormones they act on specific tissue or the organ, specific tissue or organ. Usually it is away from the site of production. So whenever the specific gland is located, from that gland this hormone is directly poured into the blood and carried by blood circulation, and it will act at the site which is away from the site of production. Now these hormones, these are specific, that is these are target specific. Then target specific means the specific hormone will act on either the specific organ or the specific tissue. Now these are not stored, although these are secreted in small quantity, these are not stored, and the major important characteristic property of these hormones are that they bring about the specific changes or they bring about the modifications in the target cell by altering the activities, that is the cellular activities. So whatever the desired modifications are to be brought in case of either the target tissue or the organ, that is brought by the altering the activities of that specific tissue cell. These hormones are degraded by the tissues and these are excreted by liver into bile or by kidney into urine. So these hormones, after its specific action, these are degraded by the different tissues and these are excreted by liver into the bile and it is excreted by kidney into the urine. The most significant property or the role of hormones is that they act as messenger between nervous system and the body organs. And because of this major characteristic property of hormones, the hormones they communicate between the different organs or the nervous tissue and the different body organ, and in turn it is responsible for the coordinated and the controlled activities of the different body parts. First gland in the endocrine system of human being is the adrenal gland. Now this adrenal gland is located above the kidney, so it is suprarenal gland. Supra means above, renal means kidney, so it is suprarenal gland. Now this adrenal gland, it secretes the specific hormone called as adrenaline. Now this adrenaline is called as the hormone of fight or flight or emergency hormone. Now why it is called as such? Because this hormone prepares the body to face emergency situations or conditions, emergency conditions of physical stress such as danger, excitement and anger. So this hormone, that is adrenaline, helps the body to control the activities in the stressful situations like danger, excitement and anger. Now usually this hormone is secreted in small amount. But when there is the condition of physical stress, this adrenaline is secreted in larger amount. Because of this larger amount of adrenaline, it enables the greater supply of glucose to blood, so that it will generate higher energy which is required to face the situation, and the body will act either as fight or flee. So whenever, as we have seen in the example of squirrel, whenever there is the stressful condition, the body has to decide the activity, whether it will run away or whether it is fight. Now for both these activity, it requires the higher energy, and that higher energy is made available because of greater supply of glucose to the blood, and it is possible because of higher secretion of adrenaline. So this hormone is known as emergency hormone, so that the body will be facing stably to the emergency conditions. The next gland, that is the endocrine gland, is the thyroid. Now this thyroid gland is located in the neck, ventral to the larynx. Now this thyroid gland, it secretes the specific hormone that is known as thyroxine. Now this thyroxine is having a key role, that it regulates the protein, carbohydrate and fat metabolism. So the metabolism of these three, that is all these components, that is protein, carbohydrate and fat, is regulated by this thyroxine. So in turn it maintains the best balance of the growth. It maintains best balance of growth. Now the significant characteristic in case of all the hormones is that this hormone should be secreted in the appropriate quantity. Now if that hormone is secreted in very small quantity, the case is known as hyposecretion. And if it is secreted in very large or excess amount, it is known as hypersecretion. Hypersecretion of thyroxine leads to the exothalamic goiter. Now one more important thing is that the iodine is essentially required for the secretion of thyroxine. So obviously if there is iodine deficiency, it will lead to the deficiency in the thyroxine, and further it may lead to the goiter. The major symptom of goiter is the swollen neck. So for that purpose, whenever there is the problem regarding the thyroid, it is recommended that the salt, that is the iodized salt, should be used. So whenever we see the packets of salt, it is mentioned as iodized salt. So that iodized salt is essential for the appropriate secretion of thyroxine, so that it will maintain the balance of the growth. On the thyroid gland, there are two pairs of another gland that are oval shaped, that is known as parathyroid. Now Now these parathyroid glands, they secrete the hormone that is known as parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone, or it is also called as parathormone. Now the role played by this parathyroid hormone is that it regulates the calcium and phosphate concentration or phosphate ion concentration in the blood and bones. So it maintains the appropriate concentration of calcium and phosphate ion in the blood and bones. Hyposecretion of parathormone, it results in the parathyroid technique, while the hypersecretion of parathyroid hormone, it results in osteoporosis. So it should be secreted in the appropriate amount so that it will regulate it properly. The next gland is the pituitary gland. This oval shaped gland is present at the base of the brain. The important feature of this gland is that it secretes a variety of hormones, and these hormones, it controls the different organs as well as glands. So this pituitary gland is known as master gland. Now one of the hormone secreted by this pituitary gland is the growth hormone. Now this growth hormone secreted by this pituitary gland, it controls the development of bones and the muscles. So when this is secreted in the childhood, it controls or it regulates the appropriate growth of the children. So the hyposecretion of this growth hormone, it results in the dwarfism. So many a times when this hormone is not secreted in the sufficient quantity, we observe certain children with the stunted growth. That is, the dwarfism is because of hyposecretion of this growth hormone. While the hypersecretion of this growth hormone, it results in the gigantism. So for the appropriate growth of a child, the hormone should be secreted in the appropriate amount. So continuing the discussion regarding the endocrine system, the next gland is the hypothalamus. Now it is located in the forebrain. This hypothalamus, it links the nervous system with that of the endocrine system via or through pituitary gland. Now if you remember, we have discussed while studying the central nervous system, the forebrain portion or the region of the brain is responsible for the different things, that is the thirst, hunger, or we were regarding the body temperature also. So all that things are regulated by this hypothalamus region. So it regulates body temperature, thirst, hunger, as well as sweating. Pineal gland. Now this pineal gland is located in the brain and it releases a specific hormone known as melatonin. So the melatonin is the hormone released by pineal gland. Now the specific action of this melatonin is that it affects. What it affects? It affects first thing, that is the reproductive development. Now second important thing that it affects is the modulation of sleep and wake system. And third more important function is that it also affects the seasonal function. Now the interesting characteristic property of this melatonin hormone is that it is stimulated by dark or darkness, while the activity of this hormone is inhibited by daylight. The next endocrine gland that we are going to discuss, that is thymus. Now actually the thymus is located in front of heart. Now this thymus does not release any kind of hormone, but this thymus is having a key role in the cell mediated immunity, because in this thymus the specific cells are present that are known as T cells or the T lymphocytes. Now these T lymphocytes are having the ability to recognize the foreign pathogens. Now what are foreign pathogens? These are viruses or bacteria. Similarly, these T cells can also recognize the altered self cells. Now that cells may be either virus infected cells or the tumor or cancer cells. In that case, that will help to eliminate or remove that infected cell or the pathogen, and it will provide a protection, that is the cell mediated immunity. Another important endocrine gland that we will discuss now is pancreas. Now this pancreas, as you know, it is located just above the stomach. Now this pancreas, it releases an important hormone that is known as insulin. Now you might be knowing the role of insulin. Now what this insulin functions, or how this insulin functions, it controls the blood sugar level. So the activity or the function of insulin is that it controls blood sugar level. Now if insulin is secreted in the smaller amount, it will result in the higher or rise in the blood sugar level. It will result in the rise in the blood sugar level. Now what will affect? It will affect or it will result in the metabolic disorder that we know is diabetes mellitus. So the less secretion of insulin will ultimately result in the rise in the blood sugar level, and the result will be the metabolic disorder diabetes mellitus. Now if insulin is secreted in larger amount, now what it will result? It will result into hypoglycemia. Now the major adverse effects of hypoglycemia are the sweating and hunger. Now you might be knowing that in many a times when the blood sugar level of the diabetic patient is not properly controlled, usually the insulin injections are given. That means in such a patient, the insulin secreted is in smaller amount. So when we supply the injection of insulin, it will help to maintain the appropriate blood sugar level. So in a normal individual, the appropriate amount of insulin should be secreted. Now continuing the discussion, there are male sex organ and the female sex organ. Now a pair of ovaries are the female sex organ, while a pair of testes are the male sex organ. Now these ovaries, it secretes two different hormones. These are namely estrogen and progesterone. Now this estrogen, it regulates the changes that occur during the puberty. So whatever the changes that are occurring during the puberty are regulated by this estrogen. While this progesterone, it regulates the uterine changes that are occurring during the menstrual cycle. Similarly, this progesterone also helps in maintaining the pregnancy. Now, the male sex organ, that is testis, it releases the hormone, that is testosterone. Now, like the estrogen, the testosterone also regulates the changes that occur during puberty in case of males. So overall, these male and female sex organs, they secrete the proper or the appropriate male and female sex hormones that will regulate the changes in the respective. So up till now, we have discussed the different hormones which are secreted by the respective endocrine glands. Now the key point in the appropriate functioning of these hormones is that these hormones should be released in the appropriate quantity or appropriate amount. Now in both the case, if it is secreted in the less amount or smaller amount, or even if it is secreted in the larger amount, both will be harmful to the individual. Now overall, a mechanism must be there which carry out the regulation of the amount as well as the specific time when that hormone should be released. Now the mechanism used for that is the feedback mechanism. So by utilizing feedback mechanism, the timing as well as quantity of the specific hormone in an individual is regulated. Now how this happens, we can understand this with the simple example. Now if in a patient or in a diabetic patient there is rise in the blood sugar level. Now this change is readily recognized or it is detected by pancreas. So obviously the pancreatic tissue or the cells which secrete the hormone insulin will be stimulated. So it will result in the higher amount of the release in the higher amount of insulin. Now this larger amount of insulin will lower down the blood sugar level. So obviously when the blood sugar level is lowered down, it will stop or it will control the insulin level itself. So overall this is a feedback mechanism by which the level and the timing of the insulin. So the excess or larger amount of insulin will be secreted by pancreas only when it will detect the rise in the blood sugar level. Otherwise, the pancreas will not release the excess amount of insulin. Now, as soon as the amount of insulin is increased, it will control the sugar level. And as soon as the sugar level is lower down, it will stop the excess secretion of the insulin. So, this is the feedback mechanism or the simple example by which we can discuss the feedback mechanism. So coming to the end of today's session, we have seen that how the endocrine system and nervous system togetherly helps in the control and coordination. Now the endocrine system, that is including the different glands and the different hormones that are secreted in the appropriate quantity, are responsible for the normal or the appropriate activity of the human beings. With this discussion, we will conclude your chapter, that is control and coordination. So like, share and subscribe my channel. Don't forget to press the bell button. So thank you. We will meet in the coming sessions with your new chapter. Till then, stay tuned.